So in this video I'm going to be looking at two Daredevil builds, the Staff Daredevil and the Pistol Daredevil. And the reason why they're in the same video is because they have basically the same idea going for them. And that's going to be mostly in the bound dodge, right? So bound with the Pistol 5 is really nice because you get stealth combos on Pistol. And obviously on Staff it's really good because you're kind of like a melee bruiser. And then on Staff Master, you want that for Staff, obviously. And Havoc Specialist is actually a pretty interesting trait because at first it looks like it is very PvE oriented, but it's actually really good for a Pistol Daredevil build because there's no range requirement anymore. You don't need to be in melee range to get the damage increase. So it's nice for pistol builds and even short bow, which is interesting because short bow has really good synergy with bound because it's like a melee attack, whereas short bow is kind of like a medium range attack. So you can kind of kite and manipulate your positioning while hitting people in melee range with your dodge, and then positioning yourself while cluster bombing them. And Havoc Specialist, increases the damage of your short bow, right? Because it's only based on your dodges. So that's really nice. And obviously you'll take Escapist Fortitude. So for Deadly Arts, I take Mug and Improv as usual on both builds. But on the Pistol one, you could take Reveal Training. It's kind of nice because you'll do something like the Pistol 5 into the combo, and then you have revealed on you for 4 seconds, which is a pretty nice boost, right? 200 power is not something to shrug off, so that's really nice. But Panic Strike is also good too because immobing someone when you're +1ing them is really good because they can't dodge. So that's also pretty good. I would say probably take Revealed Training because you're not going to really immob people that much to get the poison effect, and even then, like, you don't really need the poison effect that often because the weakness from Lotus Poison also comes from Weakening Strikes now. But there is an argument that you'd want weakening even more, like weakening from Lotus Poison from Panic Strike, because not only does it scale with Weakening Strikes, but it gives you more uptime on Weakening Strikes, right? Because when the opponent is weakened, they deal less damage to you and you deal more damage to them, right? But you don't have permanent weakness uptime from Weakening Strikes. So having Lotus Poison would just synergize really well with Weakening Strikes. So that's pretty nice. But you could take either one, to be honest. It just depends on what you like. So I've been testing out Reveal Training. It's good too. And then obviously you would want Thrill of the Crime and Trickery, Bountiful Theft, and Sleight of Hand, because those are the normal traits that you want to take in Trickery. Obviously not Lesser Haste because you want the Fury uptime, and the Swiftness uptime, which kind of leads you into this topic of Swiftness uptime, because I'm taking Rune of Evasion, which gives you Ferocity and then an extra bit of Ferocity as a 6th bonus, along with Swiftness duration and Swiftness when you successfully evade an attack. And why that is so good is because having Swiftness is obviously really good because it helps you to stay on top of your target and to escape and stuff like that. And if the enemy has Swiftness and you don't, you're gonna they can avoid you just by simply using WASD. But while you do have Swiftness on Thrill of the Crime, it's tied to your steal, which means that you have to steal to get it, and then it means you're using steal to get swiftness, which means you're not using it to get as much momentum as possible. Like, steal is useful for finishing targets, interrupting heals, or making big plays to interrupt, like res signets. And if you're just using steal off cooldown because you need the swiftness, then you're kind of like gimping your role, really, right? Like, because the thief is the playmaking class, and if you're not using your steal to make plays, then it just doesn't make sense. So what you do want to do is take Rune of Evasion to keep your swiftness up so that you can use steal for what it's best at. And normally, right, you'd run Eagle. So what would you lose between this and Eagle? So Eagle rune has the below 50%, 10% more damage, and then it has a bit of, its main stat precision instead of ferocity. So you'd get some ferocity instead of precision. It's kind of like a DPS decrease, right? But having swiftness all the time is definitely a DPS increase, in my opinion. So I think it's definitely worth it. And yeah, it's just a really good rune, in my opinion, for this build. So yeah, I take that. So for the staff build, right, you'd want to have Panic Strike still, Bound, Staff Master, and then there's some argument for like taking Acro instead of Deadly Arts because you just get more dodges, and then you take something like Hard to Catch, Upper Hand, and Instant Reflexes, and then you have just like permanent swiftness anyways, and then you don't need Rune of Evasion, but then it's just kind of like you're just a dodge, like you're only dodging, and it just feels like not as effective. Sure, you're getting like weakening strikes all the time, but you don't really need that, right? So improv is just insanely powerful. It gives you your utilities, which gives you more sustain than just dodging, right? Because it also gives you more playmaking ability. And then Mug is also really just insane skills. So I think Deadly Arts is still the best bet on Thief, and obviously Poison. So yeah, no Acro, in my opinion, is really that worth it because the role of Thief is still not to 1v1. You can take 1v1s with this build, but obviously your kill potential is more important than your survivability as a Thief. So giving up too much kill potential to go for acrobatics there. And yeah, so definitely Deadly Arts with Staff, and obviously Deadly Arts with PP as well. And then for PP you would take Sigil of Separation, and then for Staff you would take Opportunity because you can spam the 3 skill for cripples and stuff. And then for utilities, you would obviously take Withdraw because you can't take Brawler's Tenacity, and then obviously Shadow Step and Dagger Storm because those are the best. And then from there, it's kind of interesting because now with Escapist Fortitude, you have a lot more Condi Cleanse passively, so you don't need Signet of Agility. And while Signet of Agility is really good for supporting your teammates, you could take other things like on the pistol build, you can go roll for initiative, obviously, and then you could go blinding powder on top of that. And then what you can do is you can give your teammates stealth with the combos, and then blinding powder, and then you give your teammates like the insane stealth openers that you really want to give them without, sacrificing too much of your Condi Cleanse, right? Obviously, every build needs. This is another thing, right, about the role of Thief is you need 2 stun breaks on every build, because if you're too reliant on saving your 1 stun break, you're not going to use your stun breaks in a way that's effective, you're going to be saving it for too much, and it's going to be like non-value for you, right? But if you have 2 stun breaks, it allows you to use them aggressively and to kind of stay in the match without falling too behind, because you're playing too passively to not get stunned, right? And Shadow Step, in my opinion, should not be used primarily as a stun break, but when it's your only skill, that's a stun break, which, you know, when you used to have Signet on your bar, and then like there was no, you know, Thief was kind of doing not enough damage, you'd take Assassin Signet as well. That's like 1 stun break on your bar. So what it did was it forced you to save your stun break or your Shadow Step too long, and it prevented you from using Shadow Step as a playmaking tool, which is really what it is. It's a playmaking tool with stun breaks attached to it. So yeah, using it for that and then having other skills for stun breaks is really important. So that's why I take, for Pistol, I would take Roll for Initiative and Blinding Powder. Now you can take Signet of Agility if they have more condies, right? But you definitely want Roll for Initiative, because Pistol is very initiative intensive. But you can also take things like Scorpion Wire for more ranged CC, and then you know, that'll prevent you from having to use headshots. You can use Smokescreen for both builds, and that's really nice because it gives you more smoke finishers, which is stealth, and it also is really nice for putting on top of downed bodies. However, normally it's going to be something like Bandit's Defense, Blinding Powder, or Assassin Signet, or Signet of Agility. And then for staff, you can do something like Bandit's Defense and either two, you know, one of the 2 Signets, or you can go Roll for Initiative, and this is a really tanky version because you have 3 stun breaks, right? So you can use them very aggressively, especially since Bandit's Defense is low cooldown. Or you can go something like, you know, Smokescreen, or even I've been running Fist Flurry, which is really good for staff, because what you can do is you can combo Bandit's Defense into a you know, the knockdown, and then once they're knocked down, you can hit the whole Fist Flurry into Palm Strike, and then you get like a really nice 2-second knockdown into 2-second stun, and then, you know, that really helps you stun lock targets and finish them off really fast. And you can also do with the staff, Sneak Attack is a knockdown as well, so that's really nice because it helps you to land it, right? It's kind of difficult to land Fist Flurry, so that's pretty nice. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. He talks about why you shouldn't run Acro still, why Evasion Rune, and then the more utility diversity because of Escapist Fortitude. So yeah, that's pretty much it. How you'd be using the pistol build is kind of what I haven't explained already. I do have a staff guide out, so if you want more info on how the staff skills work, that's available on my channel already. But for like the pistol build, you'd be doing something like you know, your target is over here, you know, pistol 5, and then you kind of use that combo field to blind them while you're pressuring them and to prevent counter pressure. So you can do stuff like that, and you're getting tons of blind finishers. And then if you have the revealed training trait, that would also proc it there as well, because you're revealed from the sneak attack. And yeah, you just basically spam 3 and try to maintain positioning away from the target, and then save swipe for momentum plays, like if someone blocks and then you go in, or to like counter pressure someone who jumps on you, and then you can continue spamming 3. Yeah, you basically get kind of hard countered by scrappers and anything with like tons of projectile reflect as usual on PP Thief, but the thing is, that's always how it's been. And it's kind of nice that you can also swap into short bow and use bound, because some of those aren't reflectable. So like the cluster bomb, when you blow it up, that's not reflected, and obviously the choking gas can't be reflected. So you can do stuff like this, and none of this is being reflected right here because they're not projectiles. The cluster bomb initial cast can be reflected, so you want to blow that up before it hits into the reflect field. And then, yeah, you pretty much can jump around your target and be sort of like medium range while also, you know, doing damage and not standing in like immediate range of someone and being like, say that's a warrior, you know, you don't want to be standing on top of them because they do way more damage than you, but they're melee, so you can kind of kite people with bound and short bow, which is nice with Havoc's specialist. So yeah, that's the build, and I'll be playing some PP games as well as staff to show you guys a little bit more of how the new Daredevil is working out pretty well. I'm playing the version with evasion runes, pretty nice, and this flurry is what I'm gonna be using here, even though yeah, versus Mez Thief, Fist Flurry is not that good, but versus Reapers and Scrappers it's really good because they are very healthy classes. They use their health bars and damage mitigation to survive, whereas Thieves and Mesmers use evasion to survive, which kind of counters Fist Flurry. So, and then they also have a Firebrand who gives out Aegis, which is not really good for Fist Flurry either. So, yeah. So we're gonna go into mid and look for the Mesmer maybe. So immediately I get jumped on, so I can just disengage while my team is doing other stuff. And they've targeted the Firebrand, so I want to go in on that with my team. It actually didn't need my steel to do this, so I can just Dagger Storm to cleave. And it looks like their Thief is rotating out already, and their Scrapper is actually going to go to our home. And while I don't really want to do this, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, because that's a bad matchup for me, right? So you just go too far, and I can just snowball with my team and get them out of wherever I was. So I'm gonna Fist Flurry and steal here, get the insane cleave, and now that we've got the kills here from the 3v2, we can keep snowballing and eventually go to home where the rest of my team has gone. So yeah, so leaving this Thief here for respawns is not the ideal situation, but you know, we have two Thieves, so someone's gotta do it. So I'm gonna +1 this NG on mid with the Mesmer and get the cripple there. And just spam dodge and cripple basically, and you can do the jump trick with the 3 skill, right? If you watch my other staff video, you'll see how to do that. I actually landed the whole Fist Flurry there, so this is kind of high damage, but it's not really value to land it because anything will kill the Mesmer at this point, right? So I'll just do whatever. As good as it feels to land Palm Strike, you have to remember to not greed for it, right? Because that can end up in being worse than landing it, right? Obviously, if you lose too many resources to try to land it. He's gonna leave me here to full cap, which I think is actually better because he has more rotational damage, right, as an SD Thief than I do. He can rotate faster. So I'm gonna watch the respawns, and if it's a Mesmer, then I definitely want to be in 1v1 with that. Even though Fist Flurry is not very good versus them, I still have Bandit's Defense, which is pretty safe. I don't have the Condi Cleanse from Signet, but I do have the other stuff. So I'm going to wait for a dodge or two here. There's the one, so there's his heal. I'm going to steal into it. And that's what I was talking about, where you save your steal for momentum and, you know, securing kills, preventing heals, rather than for swiftness, because I have swiftness already from invasion runes, right? So that's nice. And here I get diversioned. My teammate is dead down there, so we've actually got the kill here because I'm still hitting my auto chain. And I'm going to finish this obviously because you never know what kind of rally situation might happen. And this is, you know, if we lose this, we can't like decap it, right? We lose the whole bell. So getting kills on Capricorn is really important because the bell, once it's fully capped, you know, it's fully capped. You can't decap it until the next one happens, right? So right here, I'm actually going to save my Fist Flurry for when the Scrapper uses a dodge, so that I can land the full Fist Flurry. It seems like he doesn't want to dodge though. There's one dodge, so I'm going to Fist Flurry, but I didn't land it, so it's kind of bad. I can knock him down though, but I'm going to go for the Mesmer instead. Got really close to capping the node. Should get on the target with the team as usual. And yeah, the 2 skill is probably better versus Aegis and stuff like that. That was a really bad dodge or steal right there, to be honest. I should have waited for a dodge there. At this point I'm out of cooldowns, right? And their team, you can tell their team is focusing me, because when I try to leave, they... Okay, so this is a good play by our Necro, because he knows that I need to reset and he can go in, right? So that's fine. Their Thief wants to 1v1 me for some reason, and I'm completely fine with that. I can reflect with my autos and then block. I'm gonna try to land his S3 because he's gotten the proc, right? He can't spam it anymore. Get the immob. He's probably gonna steal to me any moment now. Nope. He's just leaving. So he's gonna try and decap mid. I'm gonna want to get the burst so that he can't dodge it. And yeah, this is looking good. So I have Fist Flurry up soon. I want to use that on the Necro. They have a Scrapper res. Should have targeted the Scrapper, but there's so much like Mesmer clones in the area, it's kind of hard for me to do that. And we're losing mid, but I think we can get this kill anyways. So yeah, just Dagger Storm here. If they res, they'll get hard punished, right? Because I had plenty of initiative to spam cleave. And then I'll knock this down. I got knocked back. I would have Fist Flurried into that, but we'll get the kill anyways. And that gives us our second bell, or is that the first bell? Looks like it's the first bell. And as you can see here, the Mesmer is trying to stall it, so I want to finish that off too. I don't want them to stall, I want us to snowball. And this is kind of fishy here. I don't know what's going on with this Guardian. He probably would have self-res if I didn't stop that. And there's actually a dead guy over there. That's unfortunate, but we did get the bell, even though our teammate died to their Thief respawning. Ooh, that was a really good vault. Now I can Fist Flurry this, is insanely good value here because it just deletes the health bar of a Necro, right? It gets you really good value because a Necro usually just is it has so much health that even if you burst them, it kind of survives through it. You need other people to burst with you normally, but with Fistler you're kind of like a one-man burst, right? So that's pretty nice. And as like a brawler spec that has kind of like high evade, having like a one-shot potential on it is also really good. But yeah, at this point in the game, we're pretty safe here. So I can just outnumber everything. I don't need to play greedy at all. You just play super, you know, plus 20. So spotted their Necro. There's already people pressuring him. He thinks he's safe. He's gonna do that. He's gonna dodge. Oh, he's CC'd. So yeah, that is kind of how Staff is played nowadays. Not too different from what it used to be, but you know, the flexibility is nice with the utilities. So here we have pistol. And I'm gonna give my Necro stealth right off the bat. Kill this rifle turret. So that's a prot hollow there. Let me get on the Scourge. Maybe we'll get on the NG. I'm actually +1 far because he's actually winning that 1v1 actually. I don't need to plus it, so that's good enough. And we're 100% losing this fight at mid, so maybe I can pressure the Necro out here. He used all of his barriers, so and now we'll just snowball into home. Ellie's dead on far. See, they have an Ellie here. Just pressure them from off the node because that's the benefit of pistol. It's the ability to do ranged pressure, which is very safe. And that's dead. Now we can go to mid again. And it looks like we're actually dying at mid. So I'm gonna Dagger Storm this and pistol. And we've got that kill. So actually I've lost mid. Snowball this. They went a little too greedy for that. Get their Necro kill. Just dodge so we can steal there. And I'm going to chase with Shadow Step. And unload spam. I'm going to leave that there. And focus the NG. The Mesmer is a good target. My Dagger Storm soon. Pressure this. It's over here. Can get the buff as well while I'm here, because it's really fast to do that. And it looks like we're winning far, so I wanna make sure that we keep winning far. So I'm gonna keep snowballing this. The Dagger Stone on the down body, it's gonna bounce a lot of shots onto Necro and their Mesmer here. And can do that. Here's where I want to stay in short bow, because the Mesmer has so many evades that it's not really worth it to... Oh, I'm gonna die there. Back though, and I can Dagger Storm this. And we want to go on this Ellie. Steal into that aftercast, and then keep the momentum going into mid. Kind of do want the buff over here, but it looks like they've gotten it already. Is there a second sword buff? Guess there is. Is that a bug? Well, I don't want to 1v1 that. I have the sword buff, so I'll go into here and +1 this. So I want to cut off the exits. Now that they're pressured, I can Dagger Storm them in. So my Scourge is pretty pressured here, so I'm going to go off to the side with them. I do want to target the Mez so that they can't free cast. It's a power Mesmer. There's a well-timed blind there. And yeah, now I just want to just focus target with my team. Go back into home. Just got one-shotted by the hollow. Yeah, that's the issue with this build. If you don't have your cooldowns, you're really susceptible to getting killed. But we are snowballing into mid, which is nice. Should have just stayed there, to be honest, instead of try to 1v1. Like, this build doesn't 1v1. Like, Hollow's basically a range class. It doesn't 1v1 those very well, because he can just CC me at any point. Well, you can't 1v1 Hollow on anything, really. That Thief plays, so yeah, I shouldn't have been there. But the the range on my skills especially is lower than his, right? You can't fight Sick'em Soul Beast with your low range. It's more of like a thief, right? But you have a little bit of mid range instead. You still have the same issues with a lot of things though, right? So, and here I just want to hold the node because we're so close to winning, so might as well. Just focus this. Steal into that. And there's the Elixir E proc, I think. And that's basically somewhat how you play PP Thief. I mean, you just want to like position yourself pretty safely and just press 3. I mean, it's that easy, really. Just snowball with your team as usual, and you have a little bit of a safer burst. So, there's that.